Hi, my name is Breun, and I'm the parent of three beautiful children, two of which have homocystinuria. Our kids were diagnosed at the ages of 4 and 6, and our journey with homocystinuria began when our daughter Clara began struggling with her vision around the age of 3. Eventually, we discovered that her lenses were detaching. And after a long list of medical tests and a bout of pancreatitis, we were told that she had classical homocystinuria. We then tested our other children and discovered that our oldest, Jacob, 6 at the time, also had HCU. He had had a lot of developmental delays and regressions over the years, and his diagnosis helped gain understanding as to what his body had been enduring and how HCU had been affecting him throughout his young life. Once they were diagnosed with homocystinuria, we began a low-protein diet immediately. They were given B12 injections, folic acid, and high doses of vitamin B6. The B12 injections were prescribed to be administered at home intramuscularly. We had a close friend of the family that was willing to come over and administer these shots for us. It was very traumatic. Our daughter, Clara, still struggles with getting shots to this day. Recently, she actually had a panic attack at a doctor's office just getting a routine vaccination. And I remember clearly my son asking why we were doing this to them. It was absolutely heartbreaking and definitely not a position any parent should be put in. They then began to take Cystidane. They then began to take Cystidane, and the long journey of discovering a formula that they would actually drink began. As you may or may not be aware, the formula choices they have are limited and not very palatable. 5 years later, at the ages of 9 and 11, they still struggle to consistently drink the required amount of formula. They both complain of upset stomach and the fatigue of needing to drink these shakes. They now complain of upset stomach after they take their Cystidane as well, which is frustrating because that is absolutely required for them to take to keep their HCU levels in line. Maintaining the low protein diet has challenges of its own, but the biggest challenge is social gatherings, parties, and just any time where they're out and trying to be free with friends. We have certainly tried to set them up for success and educate them. We've showed them how to read labels, but imagine yourself at the ages of 9 and 11 reading labels on snacks so that you understand the serving size and how much protein is in any given item. That being said, we have tried to set them up for success and will continue to educate them, but at some point, they will consistently be making choices independently as they get older. The things that worry me that are coming down the pipeline are adhering to their low protein diet, consuming their formula, Cystidane, and the required vitamins. The consequences of them deciding to not stay on diet, not drink their formula, or forgetting their medications is quite frankly terrifying. Blood clots, stroke, bone density issues, progression of scoliosis, depression, increases in mental deficits and cognitive abilities, not to mention the risk of our son also losing the lenses in his eyes like our daughter. In addition, even when kids are doing perfect with their diet, medications, and formula, the unpredictability of their HCU levels is beyond frustrating. There is no rhyme to reason to what can make their levels skyrocket at times. With no easy way to test at home, it is hard to understand what directly affects their levels. Other concerns that come to mind are specifically for my daughter. When she decides to become a mother, what does that look like for her? Though I do have the knowledge that bearing children to term under close monitoring from a physician is possible, I know she is at greater risk for complications and miscarriages. I would love for her to be able to have a pregnancy journey without these risks and complications. When I think about putting my kids in clinical trials, There are many factors to consider: ease of administering medications, transparency of potential long-term risk factors, the autonomy of themselves being able to decide whether a monthly in-clinic injection or infusion is right for them, or if more frequent in-home injections make sense. I have found that even though they are children, they do appreciate the power to be able to make their own decisions when the option is given. Development of medications as well as home blood tests to check HCU levels to be able to eliminate the requirement of a low protein diet and the need for formula would offer so much freedom for my children. I would love to see the lowering of risk factors for serious complications and offer a safer and healthier future. Thank you.